Hello, welcome to Storyvan TV. I'm Bonnie McDonald Dixon, and I am just wonderfully thrilled this morning to be talking to my friend Ann Crawford. She is a career transition coach, and we today we're talking about transitioning your career to a life you love. And one thing I know is when we love what we do for our work, our life is so juicy and full, and it feels so different than drudgery going to a job that we don't love. So, if you're in a place where you're transitioning or you'd thought about, am I really in the right place? Today's the conversation to listen to. So, welcome, Anne, to Storyvan TV. And would you share with our audience why you do what you do, helping people transition their career?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Bonnie, for having me. I adore you, and I just can't wait to continue our relationship down the line. Why do people come to me? Honest to goodness, it's a gut feeling that they have. It's when you know you're off course in your career and you just aren't happy. Many of my clients really love what they do, but the ethics in the workforce just aren't not setting right with them. I can't explain it. They're just off course. I know I said that before, but it really truly is. How did I get into this? It's being on off course myself, really not knowing what I wanted to do. I had great talents, but where does that fit in?
Mhm.
You just sit there and go, who do I go to? Who do I talk to about this? And when I started over 17 years ago, there really wasn't anybody to go talk to other than your girlfriends and say, I hate my boss, or, I'm so burnt out, or they won't allow me to come home when my child's sick, or, there's no creativity in my work. And I thought something's got to be really changed here. And that's why I went to coaching school, and I chose career transitions just for that reason, because so many people that I knew that were brilliant, happy, creative, loyal were very unhappy. And let's get them in a position that they absolutely love.
Mhm. That's so profound because it can probably happen at many times in our lives, but I myself, I call it a portfolio career. And I wish I'd had someone to talk to like yourself.
Mm.
Because what I did is I kept flipping things, thinking I'll find the perfect job, which
Yeah.
later I wrote a, a book about because I was searching, but I might not have even been asking myself the right questions. And so so to
True.
have someone that does this for their own living and has been through it before themselves, what I do know is for myself that everywhere I go, I try to make it the perfect job. But what I'd love to know from you, Anne, is what are some of the things that you might be curious about for your clients? What I know they're searching, but you're helping them find what they're looking for. What are some of the questions that you might ask someone?
Well, the first important part is getting them to know themselves. And I'd say 90% of my clients don't know who they are. They go according to their job titles, and they're a mom, a dad, um, an engineer, or their rank in the military, because I do work with the military. And after I shed all that, I really ask the questions: what is truly important to you for you to be happy? And then we go down a list depending on what they're struggling with. It could be, do you want to work during the day or at night? What is your priority? Is it being with the kids? Do you want flexible work days? Uh, where do you get your validation from? And how can that be achieved in the workforce? Many people are struggling with their leadership in their jobs, and it's not there for them. So that's an important component that they look for in the next adventure that they're going to. How you communicate. If you're really, you need to know what you're doing that day and how to do it, then you need to team up in your next career with a force that supports that kind of thinking. Those are some of the questions that I deal with.
Mhm. Well, that's truly interesting because what you said is that I heard is, do they know themselves? And I think sometimes maybe women more than men might just be doing their what's expected of them versus really knowing themselves.
Right.
And do you find that a common thread for women that they actually never stop to ask themselves the questions?
I actually think it's women, we're more apt to talk to each other.
Mhm.
Women are gabbers and they'll tell their good friend what's going on. Men are a little closed-minded and everything I should be successful and I should be able to figure this out.
Mhm.
So when you're going through this, honest to goodness, I don't know how to describe this. It's your inner being is telling you that things are not correct.
Mhm.
And we do a lot of things for other people. I'm staying in this job because of the benefits so that my family won't be disappointed in me. I
Mhm.
need to make the money so I'm not looking anywhere else. I'll be unhappy. It's only for another 20 years.
Mhm.
Honest to goodness, this is what I hear, and it makes me very sad because you can
Mhm.
be happy at any time in your life. You just have to
Mhm.
make the changes slowly but surely.
Mhm. Literally, you're speaking what I heard. My father, bless his heart, he is still alive at 92.
Wow.
He always said that he didn't seem happy at work. And he worked 2 jobs. There were 5 kids and he worked 2 jobs. He didn't seem happy at work. And I was said to myself, I will never be that way. I will always enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And it because I thought that is your life. And now he was blessed to live a long life. But if you work the 20 years that you're speaking about, and you've been unhappy, and then believe me, this happens. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Not myself, but my former husband, where suddenly a health crisis comes up and
Yeah.
bam, you're down. You're down for the count. And you're either disabled and or you're dead. And now you've lived this life that you were very unhappy in. And I thought,
Yeah.
hey, this might be your one chance here. And
Exactly.
I know. And so I love that you are willing to be that sounding board, that person, that redirector for people to know they don't have to live that kind of life. They do have a choice.
We have choices every day, honestly,
Mhm.
when you really think about it. And when you're really unhappy, think about the rest of your health. You can't cope with anything. So, like that medical emergency that you talked about,
Mhm.
if you were in a job that you were really happy about that said, Bonnie, take as much time off as you need to cope with your family problems, work from home if you have to, or we'll see you at night instead of during the day. Think about how different that would have been for you.
Mhm.
This is the
Mhm.
things that you have to think about when you're changing careers. Finally, stand up for yourself and say, I have a must do list for myself, and nothing is going to deviate from that. So if
Mhm.
you can't give me these things, then I guess I'm not working here. I'm
Mhm.
not doing that job.
It's a personal bucket list for someone then.
It
And
is. You have to
yeah.
put yourself first. Yeah.
Mhm. That might be hard for some people. And what are some of the gems of wisdom that you might, as you're working with someone, to help them through that transition to actually value themselves?
It's it starts with I tell my clients, please do a gratitude journal. Please do a gratitude journal because that refocuses your negativity to positivity and really zones in on balance in your life.
Mhm.
Then I really reach out to them and go, where did this feeling of worthiness start?
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, I hate to say this, but a lot of people, it starts in their childhood and it goes underground for many years until you start getting these unhappiness triggers. It could be with your family life, it could be with career, but let me tell you, when it's all coming together, it explodes and you pop up out of the ground and go, wow, there's some issues I am not dealing with. And then
Mhm.
once we identify that, then it's how can I handle those things and change my outlook? I do mirror work with people that I say the first thing you do in the morning is when you're brushing your teeth or something, you look in that mirror and say, I am worthy of greatness. Today will be spectacular. And if you say those things, honest to goodness, it really does change your day and your outlook. It gives you
Mhm.
positivity.
Mhm. Oh, that touches my heart. I
Mhm.
am going to be writing this down and re-listening to this podcast and writing that down and putting it on my mirror in the morning. I think that it really is interesting. Just the act of smiling, even if we're feeling just the act of smiling sometimes is
Right.
very, very helpful.
It's true. It really does. Do something nice. If you're out of work or you're not feeling good about yourself, volunteer somewhere.
Mhm,
Something that
mhm,
gives you validation and makes you feel I have made a difference in the world. So
mhm,
a lot of people, my clients were out of work during COVID. They go, how
mhm,
do I put that on my resume? I'm like, put down all the things that you did, the positive things that you did, whether it's helping a parent go through a physical
mhm,
struggle or is volunteering at the school or whatever you did, put it down. It's very important.
mhm. That's in my book as well on how to get a job you love. I said you can volunteer your way into a place that you want to work. Many times by just showing up, volunteering, they get to know, like, and trust you. And you get to know, like, and trust their culture because you might not know. And
Exactly.
it's so helpful. I believed when I was young I was going to be a veterinarian, and I actually loved animals. Just loved animals. Had horses, dogs, any animal you name. Our family had it, even a monkey. Eek. But I volunteered, and I found out something profound. I love well animals. But
Yes.
when I worked with sick animals, it was not so fun. They bite, they
Right.
claw, they scratch, they're angry, they're hurting. And I realized that that actually wasn't for me. And I was so glad that I volunteered because I wouldn't have known that. What if I'd trained for 8 years and go, oh, gee, I don't like this? No.
That's true.
So volunteering is one of my favorite things to ask people to do as well. And then,
I'll
as you said, it shows up on the resume.
Yes, it does. I'll tell you a quick little story. I had an accountant and he was a client of mine and he was burnt out. He loved the numbers game, but he wasn't going anywhere in the firm that he was doing. He said, I don't find this results. I'm not getting charged out of this anymore. So we figured out what he would like to do voluntarily wise. And he said, maybe work with children. So he started working at a big center. I won't name the place, but I said, while you're there, use this as a learning and experiment and a networking experiment and tell them what you do. So he went into the office of the accountant for this center and say, hi, I'm Bob and I'm an accountant. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them for you if you don't mind. And the guy actually was very receptive and he said, this is good to know because I think I'm going to be retiring in a year or two and I'm not familiar with one or two of the current changes in the system. He not only got to know the staff, he not only understood the philosophy, he saw that the kids were being helped and he loved it there. So a year or two later, when the man decided to retire, they asked him, would you like to work here full time and be our accountant? And he's like, oh my goodness, I would love to. So down the road, they were in the middle of a project. He finished the project for them. They walked him down the hall, a brand new center, and they dedicated it to him because he saved them so much money that they were able to finish it well before the deadline. And they said, with your expertise here, you have created even more joy for the children. And he called me up, and honest to goodness, he was crying on the phone. He goes, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see what I do as an accountant make a difference in my client's life. And that's a great volunteer story where he got through the door and learned that this is something that he wanted to be attached to.
Mm. That
So
makes me want to cry. I mean,
I know
for
it's awesome. It really was.
well, I am super excited for you and I
I
because
know.
we have been conversing for, I don't know, 6 months or so, and
No,
realized both of us love to help people,
we
love to help
do.
people be joyful, live the life they love, doing the work they love. And
Hmm.
so we came up with a 3-part series. Now, normally, just so you know, Anne and I both work with people and, charge money. But in this case, we are doing this, our volunteer work for you, so that
That's right.
you can manifest change and do what you want to love. Now, this 3-part series, the first one, Anne, could you explain? We're going to talk a little bit about gut feeling, and Anne is an expert at this. So,
Oh, listen, we all got them, good and bad. We've all got that
Mhm,
gut feeling. But like I was saying before,
mhm,
Bonnie and I are going to go over what that gut feeling really means and how it can start on your journey. Because we
mhm,
all come home that one day and say, I don't think I can do this anymore.
mhm,
Well, what's going on with me? Gee, my
mhm,
boss is kind of, I'll say it, a jerk, but how do I
mhm,
figure out how to get away from him? How can I
mhm,
change this? Those are your gut feelings. So that's what
mhm,
we're going to be discussing. What are those feelings? Where does
mhm,
it come from? And how great it is to recognize them and say, okay, it's time to listen to Bonnie and Anne and get a
mhm,
grip on what I'm doing and
mhm,
move it forward.
mhm, mhm. This series that we're doing can change your life for the better. And so I'm going to encourage you. We will be sending out notices on LinkedIn and other places. And I just want you to know, please come. There will be recordings. Please send your friends. If you know, maybe you're happy as a clam, but you have a friend that's been kind of upset or complaining or just unhappy in their life. Send them over. Have them
Yeah.
listen to this. It's going to be so much fun. You're going to learn a lot. And we promise you that if you do what we share, your life will be just transformed. And when we transform our lives, we transform other people's lives.
Mhm.
Just as that gentleman that you were sharing with that brought
Right.
tears to our eyes, he not only changed his life, but profoundly helped others at the same time. And that's what life's all about. It's not just about us, us, us. It's about
Right.
how we give. And when we give and when we give lovingly, it comes back to us.
It does. It's like a gift. I'll tell you that. It's like a
Yes.
gift. This
Yes.
transformation is not like you're not going to, well, you might have your aha moments, but you're certainly going to recognize your triggers. That's for sure. And once you
Hmm.
recognize those, then you can start moving forward. And that's what
Hmm.
we don't
Hmm.
have to hope for it. We know that it's going to happen with our series.
Hmm.
So I'm very excited to start it.
Now, here's the exciting other part. If you'd like to connect with Anne ahead of time, right away, and reach out to her at the ticker tape at the bottom, you can just reach out to Anne, have a conversation, a private conversation, and just, find out what you might not even know about yourself. Find out if you two are great for partner working together. And we look forward to our series, but we look forward even more to you and your life and how it will just blossom and expand and be ever so much more fun. Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Bonnie.
thank you, Anne. We'll be talking to y'all soon. And again, thank you for coming to Story Van TV today, where we love to share people's businesses and stories because the world is a great place and we love to share everyone's stories. Take
Yes, thank
care.